Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second season of Souls Outside. We've been growing and evolving over here and have decided to create series or seasons all around a specific theme, where we'll kick off each season with myself doing a feature episode introducing the topic and some cool things, which is what today is. And then we'll be inviting on 8 different guests over the next 8 weeks, so 9 weeks in total, all exploring the theme of the season. And so our first season was all about exploring and getting our feet wet. So welcome to our second season of Souls Outside, all about hardcore brain power. Because that's exactly what our brain power is. So we'll dive into some more details in a minute. And hardcore brain power today is all about officially myth-busting hypnosis and some of the wonderful ways that I love working with the brain and blending that with getting outside. So stay tuned. Welcome to Souls Outside, where we're all about finding the trail to stay true to your path. We do this by inviting featured guests on every show to share with you how you can follow in their soul prints, so you can choose which trail maps you need to continue on your journey. My name is Shannon M, and I'm loving having navigated my own pivot from engineering to now being a master results coach and hypnotherapist, plus a forest guide who loves getting outside so we can learn from the nature, foster stewardship, and really amplify our successes by being outside in nature. I'm so excited to have you join today's episode. Welcome to Souls Outside. Hello, welcome back, everyone. So yes, today is our first episode of Hardcore Brain Power with the podcast Souls Outside. And I'm going to be talking about myth-busting hypnosis. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how and why hypnotherapy for me and how that blends in with getting outside into beautiful nature and how I use them both together. So first off, I want to tell the full and complete Shannon and hypnotherapy story. I know we've done snippets in previous episodes, and I want to share the whole thing with you. So as hopefully you all know by now, my name is Shannon M. I am a master results coach, a hypnotherapist. I facilitate outdoor experiences. One day I'll be a certified forest therapy guide. It's on the list. And I also am a director of a dance school teaching Scottish Highland dance. And my whole life I've been fascinated by humans. And so how they interact and how they come together and just human interaction has always fascinated me. Now I took a detour from that for almost a decade, more of a story for another time, studying engineering. However, it kept the human piece alive. So I studied engineering and society and how technology interacts with human beings and how human beings interact and impact technology. Then I did a master's of engineering and public policy where I studied gender equity within the profession. And so there was always this human theme there. So when I got my first job, my first engineering related job, I'll say, because my first career really was in aquatics. Again, another story for another time. So my first engineering job, actually I guess it was my second, getting off topic. The main job I had for just over 5 years involved a lot of travel, and I was technically my own business. And so I decided that, if I'm technically my own business, I should really figure out what this whole business thing is about. And so I, started networking with women in business groups because I figured, women in business groups probably have people who know how to be a businesswoman. And I did learn some cool things. One of the things that I ended up doing, because I met this woman at one particular event, and she asked me what I would get on a soapbox about. So way back when, people that were protesting, or maybe protesting, just speaking up about issues of the day. Like I think they were crates, and they'd put them on the road and they'd stand on top of them, and I guess they were crates for soap. was your soapbox, and what would you stand on to talk to the world about? What do they need to hear? And that was the little crack that led to me, the business that I have, as well as, hosting a podcast and doing this. Because there's so many things that I believe people need to hear and to know. And really a lot of it comes down to, like, you are an amazing, wonderful human, and how do you need someone to say that so you actually hear it and you can wrap your hands around it? And that's one of the things I discovered through hypnotherapy. So we fast forward a bit, back up a touch. So I met this woman. She asked me about soapbox. She talked about this weekend she was doing called Designing Your Destiny, and it was all about leadership and communication. I was like, well, I was looking for information on how to do my taxes. However, I've always been fascinated, like I said, about human interaction and leadership and just being your best, most awesome human. So I was like, yeah, this could be cool. Like, I'm up for, continuing to explore myself and learn more. And so I went to the weekend, and then I pretty much already knew I wanted to do the week-long program because, again, my whole life up to this point. So let's go with an active 15 years, because it's definitely started even in elementary school. Like, I was the kid who, when the guidance counselors came to talk about, like, leadership and stuff, like, I paid attention because I knew I wanted to be a solid, amazing leader. And so it was natural for me to do this. So I went to the weekend, like 95% sure I wanted to do the week-long program. I did. It was great. And so the weekend was great. So I went to this week-long program. Again, leadership, communication, being amazing, cool beans. And it was when I got there, I learned that one of the days was hypnotherapy. I wasn't really sure how I felt about that. Wasn't really sure. So far the information I learned was pretty cool. I, how to communicate in ways that people actually hear you. For me, this happened a lot where I'd be in a room with people and, like, well, two different versions. One, like, I'd be saying something and just no one seemed to get it. And then, the next person next to you says what you think is the exact same thing, and then they finally hear you. It's finally gone through all the filters in their brain. They actually understand. You're like, that's what I just said. Come on. Or the other side where the roles reversed, where I was sitting next to someone, like, I totally understood what they were saying, but no one else would get it. So I would rephrase it in different words. And then I'm like, this person is saying da 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 da. They're like, oh, we get it now. So just like, it's all English. However, even there's, like, minute translations within the English language so people actually hear what you're saying. And we can go into, we're going to avoid the more obvious ways people could discriminate through diversity right now, because it's taking all that away. There's still miscommunications that can happen between people that look identical, that have the same backgrounds. They can still miscommunicate because of the language patterns they're using. So that kind of stuff was fascinating to me. Loved it. But this hypnotherapy, I don't know. It seemed kind of woo-woo. It seemed kind of crazy. It seemed like, well, completely unbelievable. However, I've always been a designation kid. I was the kid at camp that I wasn't just going to go to canoeing. I was getting the badge. And then the next year I was getting the next level badge. And then the next level badge. Even though I dabbled, so canoeing was the thing I did all summer. Sailing, got almost all my badges. And again, another story for another time. But I was a badge kid. So even when I dabbled in archery one summer, I still got the first level badge, because come on. So I was in this course, loving the first few days of it. It was amazing. Found out about the hypnotherapy thing. However, you needed to sit through the hypnotherapy day in order to get the designation of the full course. And I was getting that designation. The idea, it probably flitted through my head, but the idea to leave before getting all the designations, no, that wasn't me. And so I decided that I would allow myself to have that experience. Even though there was a lot of things in my mind that were like, I don't know about this, I decided to have an experience with it. And, to be perfectly honest, the first time I wasn't hooked. I was intrigued. It worked. It was awesome. And I was intrigued. However, I was by no means hooked. However, it opened my eyes up by allowing myself to have the experience. It opened my eyes up to like, oh, something that I thought was woo-woo and something that I thought was crazy, that actually, it worked. I was relaxed, which as a go person, I know I've been relaxed in my life, and like, oh, just like in a matter of, I don't even want to say minutes, moments, I was just so relaxed. And then there were some other things we did that were really cool, and I was at relaxation piece. And so I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then I went on to the mastery program, which was a 2-week course. Again, lots more leadership and communication things, a whole module like meta medicine and how the body's a feedback mechanism for information. And I wanted all that leadership and communication. That was the juice that I was going for. And this course involved 2 days of hypnotherapy. And so I was like, you know what? I can sit through 2 days of hypnotherapy. It worked. It was pretty cool the first time. And you know what? I think like 2 days of relaxation, that would be pretty cool. And I was right. It was so cool. And one of the things that really sealed the deal for me was we did a guided hypnotherapy that was both physical relaxation and mental relaxation. And if you're anything like me, my brain, it can go. It's got a lot of ideas, way too many ideas sometimes, always amazing ideas. And it was miraculous that there was something that could quiet it and really go shh, and actually shush my brain to just be. And it was the most beautiful thing for that being. Again, something that until then I'd only ever been able to find when I was by myself outside in the wind. When there's a heavy wind, I have a memory of sitting. My grandparents lived on Lake Huron, and on the lake, and there's the groin, which is the it's not a dock, it's a seawall that goes out to keep the beaches sandy. Anyways, so I went out and I sat on it, and when I think of peace and calm pre-hypnotherapy, that's a moment where I know I was very much in that peace, calm bubble. And it was very windy. You couldn't hear the sounds of my parents and siblings were on the beach. Couldn't hear them, could just hear the wind. And that, it was clearing my brain. It was peaceful, it was calm, and it was beautiful. And that was the feeling that I got in this hypnotherapy induction, this guided hypnotherapy. And so that was the moment that I was like, you know what? This is pretty freaking awesome. And that's when I decided to, I think it was a month later, not even a month later, I was in hypnotherapy trainers training, learning even more hypnotherapy modalities and being able to train and facilitate groups, which I've super enjoyed doing ever since. And so that's my full, I was gonna say full and complete. It's by no means complete. There's lots of other things I can tell you about hypnotherapy and even my experience with it. And that was the key thing, is that in that induction, which which I shared during a lot of the programs and courses that I facilitate. We won't do it on the podcast, but reach out for sure. Happy to tell you the next time that I'm facilitating it, and have you join us to experience that complete peace and calm. And so we will do a little mini exercise in the next section to allow you to experience a little bit of what hypnotherapy feels like. Not the full physical and mental relaxation, but what it feels like, so you can start to have your own experience with it. And what I'll just do right now is bust a few myths about hypnosis, So that was my story, my journey. And so a few things that I learned, those myth-busting moments, were one, the whole swinging a pendulum, you are getting very sleepy. I mean, that would work. However, it's by no means the most effective method of inducing trance. So hypnotherapy is all about going into trance, which what people realize is that we're in trance 95% of our day. And the trance is just about where's our focus. And are we in the trance of solution and awesome joy land, or are we in the trance of problem and like hard effort-filled life? So trance is about where's our focus. So for instance, everyone's in trance right now. Surprise! And I didn't even do anything other than chat with you. And to be clear, there was nothing hypnotic about what we've been talking about this morning so far. Just you're focused on either listening or watching, and that's the trance you're in. Now, if you so anytime you've ever been watching TV, you get in the TV trance. Driving a car, you get in the driving trance, the focus of driving. Athletes are in trance all the time when they're competing because they're in the trance, the focus of sprint to the finish line, of dribble, shoot the basket, of, dancers are in the trance of listen to the music and flow with it, and moving your bodies and focusing, if you're doing group choreography, like working with the other dancers to create something beautiful, or even if it's solo, focusing fully on yourself to deliver what you're there to do. So trance is just focus. And so with hypnosis, what we're doing is being a little bit more volitional, a lot more volitional and intentional about where we're putting that focus, where that focus is flowing and guiding us. And so that's by focusing on relaxing for real, you can for real relax physically and mentally, for instance. And that to me is a beautiful, beautiful gift. So hypnotherapy is about going into trance. Trance is focus. And one of the other beautiful gifts about it is by, inducing a trance, which just, you can do it for self. Well, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. That's how it got recognized by the medical boards, is that the legal definition of hypnosis is that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis, which means I can say whatever words at you I want, and it's only if you accept them and choose to follow them that it'll work and happen. So if hypnosis doesn't work for you, it just means you're being super stubborn and refusing to follow instructions and direction, which is your choice. However, let's just be real that that's what's happening. Just like anything, like if I were to tell you to go stand in the corner on your head, well, did anyone do that? Maybe if there was a gymnast out there. But you don't do that because you don't want to. Again, unless you're a gymnast and you're like, sweet, a handstand, or a yogi, and you like want to do that. Oh my goodness. Someone on like I'll go with 12th yoga class, but not in a row. It's like, let's do handstands. No. We're not really for Shannon's yet. Maybe one day, but not right now. So our unconscious minds, we have our conscious and our unconscious minds. Our unconscious minds, all the things that, that keep our hearts beating, our eyelids blinking, stores all of our memories, all of the things we've ever done in our lives, everything we've ever learned. Controls our emotions and our actions. It stands on guard for us all day, every day. And so it's not going to let us do anything that's out of alignment with who we are. And so unless you went and stood in the corner of your head, well, if you did that, there was some reason you wanted to. That I was just giving you permission, guiding you to do something you wanted to do already. And I guess the last one I'll just share is if you're thinking about hypnosis in terms of like a hypnotist, again, that's where we usually think of the pendulum, you are getting very sleepy. The people who get up on stage for a hypnosis show, those are the people that would do that after a few drinks anyways. Again, they're just being given permission, really, to do fun, redonkulous things, to have fun, to play, to be in wonder and joy of the world. They're accepting the suggestions, they're being guided to do something they want to do anyways. They've just really kind of been seeking the permission to do it for themselves. So if you've been in a space of seeking permission, wishing someone would tell you what you can or can't do, that's a little bit what hypnotherapy is about, is guiding you to give yourselves those permissions, since it's all self anyways. All right, so we're gonna take, a 30-second pause, and then we will be back to show you a little bit about what hypnosis feels like, so you can start having your experience for yourself and bust those myths for yourself. All right, stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everyone. So yeah, we've busted some myths about what hypnosis is and what it isn't, which I shared a lot about that through my story about how I got into hypnotherapy in the first place. So as I mentioned, for me, it's super relaxing. Like, that's the thing that I come back to. Just keeping this out of the microphone. I come back to the relaxing qualities of it. And there are so many things you can do to relax. And for me, I found that hypnotherapy, hypnosis, trance is really one of those things that we can take in an isolated, I'm going to do a relaxing thing now kind of space, and it blends seamlessly with other practices to only enhance their calm, their de-stressing, their focus, and to maximize them. So that's where, like, when I go to the osteopath, I put myself in a little bit of a trance so that I'm maximizing what he or she is doing. Or like a massage, if you go to the spa for massages, or even just sitting in a steam room, or if you're going for a walk, being able to work with your focus and with your trance, I find has been so much more than just a relaxation technique. And like I said, well, my practice focuses mostly on the relaxation, maximizing sleep. That's another one. 15 minutes of sleep. 15 minutes of hypnosis gives you an hour of sleep rest. So when you sleep, other stuff goes on in your brain when you sleep, and it gives you that rest boost. So while I use it mostly for those kind of things, you can also use it for weight optimization, smoking cessation, and steady habits, and getting your work done faster and more efficiently, like beyond time management strategies, but like actually putting your brain to focus on actually doing the time management strategy. Okay, I think we've talked enough. Let's have a little experience for you. So the first thing I'd like you to do, beautiful, nice big breath, in and out. And if this is something, like if you're listening to the, while you're driving, stop listening or pull over somewhere where you can park for just like 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. Probably take you 5 minutes to go park, listen, and then start driving again. No driving while we do this. If you're walking, just stand on the side of the path or find a bench, just so you can like actually engage with it instead of having it flit through the surface of your brains. So whether you're sitting or standing, nice big breath. And when you breathe, I really encourage you to think down with your breath so we can begin that grounding, that centering, and just settling into our bodies instead of trying to escape. So whether you're sitting or standing, what I like you to do, from facing forward, just want you to turn. I usually turn to the right, your choice which direction you turn. Turn your body from the waist. So hips stay facing forward, turn your body from the waist, and just notice how far you turn without like pushing your body around. Just notice how far you turned and come back to neutral. So just know. And now I want you to close your eyes. It's just going to be for a moment. So if you're in a public place, it's just a moment. Do the same thing and turn just from the waist, imagining yourself going all the way to the front of the room, all the way front 360 degrees like an owl. And then open your eyes. Note how far you turned, and then come back to neutral. So, you went further. I know you did, because I know you followed directions, and I know you worked with your unconscious minds. And so this is just a little demo that shows the power of our unconscious mind and how, by working with it and having it focus solely on what you're doing, you can go further. I highly doubt any of you did a full owl. If you did, cool. I'd love to see it. And for everyone else, like, awesome, you definitely went further. I find it, it does a little bit more when you're standing because you have a little bit more hip turn happening while you keep your feet planted. And it does, and it's a beautiful thing. Now, the other one, just wherever you are, again, if you're in a public place, this is just going to be a moment. Just take a nice deep breath. Now you allow your eyes to close. Just allow all the surface tension to dissipate out of your body. Allow this beautiful wave of relaxation to flow from the top of your head to the tips of your toes as you get more and more relaxed. As you're in this state of calm, peaceful relaxation, I want you to notice that your eyes stay closed. And even if you were to try, really try in vain, find that you cannot open your eyes. Even as you really try hard in vain, you'll find with some amusement that you cannot open your eyes. Good, relax your eyes. Allowing that relaxation to flow through your entire body. And open your eyes. Good. So I would love to know what questions do you have from today? What did you learn? What do I need to know? And come share them in the Facebook group, the Souls Outside Gathering Place, where we share information about our episodes, some other cool things, and also do tea parties where we invite our guests to come on and talk more about the theme of their episode and share some other cool tips and tricks with us. And so for the tea party with my episode, I will definitely be going through a guided hypnotherapy where you can experience that complete total mental and physical relaxation. So both of them. We'll do that during that session. Make sure you're fully back. If you're driving, you can begin driving again. And thank you everyone for joining me as we busted some myths about hypnosis today, talking about our hardcore brain power and how amazing and awesome it is. It's really got your back, and it can do so many amazing things as you've just experienced it, just a little tip of the iceberg today with how, when we're following instructions and guidance and tapping into our creative amazingness of our brains, our eyes stay closed like crazy. And at the same time, so cool and magical. So thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you at our next Trailside Tea Party coming up later this week in the Souls Outside Gathering Place Facebook group. We'll see you there. Thank you for joining us today on Souls Outside, and we hope you enjoyed walking in our featured guest soul prints as much as we did. As always, we like to wrap up each episode with our extreme gratitude and appreciation for our founding sponsors who quite literally made it possible for Souls Outside to become a reality. First off, special thanks goes to Etche Savas and her company Palindrome Design for the amazing cover art, and noting that their sponsorship comes in support of their passion project, Self-Build Sustainable. We'd also like to thank Chuck Henry for his amazing music, original music, that is featured throughout the episode. And of course, Elise Cannon, our amazing editor, who quite literally made it possible for any of these episodes to see the light of day. They probably would still be on a hard drive on my computer without her expertise, skill, and passion for editing. So we thank them so much. And until next time, we hope you enjoy your journey and continue following in the soul prints of those who have gone before.
Hey, one last thing before you go. If you wish you could talk about this episode with myself, our featured guest, or other like-minded individuals like yourself, join us on Facebook or LinkedIn in our Souls Outside Facebook and LinkedIn groups. On Facebook, we do watch parties. On both, we have awesome conversations about what we talked about and are able to answer your questions on how you can go even further on your soul print journey. See you there.